Okay, so in choice D, this was your general form of the equation. When you group your x's, your y's, and put your constant on the other side, half of your b is negative 8. That's this number. But negative 8 squared is positive 64, and you add that to both sides. Half of your b on your y's is negative 6. That goes here. Negative 6 squared is positive 36. That goes here and here. These numbers will always be positive because you're squaring your half of b. So remember, if you don't get a perfect square here, something's wrong. Your center of this circle is the point 86. Remember, it's the opposite of these signs. And the square root of 4 is your radius, which is 2. And that circle is not on your graph. The point 86 would be up here, and that's not the center of any circle here. So hopefully you notice D is very, very similar to B. And so the only difference here is this positive 16x and this negative 16x. That's literally the only difference. And so that's why we get negative 8, 6 as our center, not 8, 6. So no circle for D. E, when you group your x's and your y's and put your constant on the other side and change its sign, half of b is 10. 10 squared is 100. That's what is added to both sides. Your b here is 12. Half of b of 12 is 6. 6 squared is 36. That's added to both sides. So this adds to get 25, which is a perfect square. Your center is the opposite. Remember signs, negative 10, negative 6. Your radius is the square root of 25, which is 5. That gives us circle C. Negative 10, negative 6 with a radius of 5. Circle C. That's very similar to this one. The only difference was the plus 20x and then negative 20x. Well, the negative 20x makes my center be 10, 6 instead of negative 10, 6. Oh, and it had a positive 12y and a negative 12y. So do you see the center, the signs are different? Well, there is no circle at 10, 6, a center of 10, 6. So there's no circle for F. G and H are very similar to each other. The only difference is the positive 8y and the negative 8y. When you group your x's and your y's and bring 43 over and make it negative, half of negative 12x is negative 6. Negative 6 squared is positive 36. That's what you're adding to both sides. Half of 8 is positive 4. 4 squared is 16. That's what you're adding to both sides. So our center is 6, negative 4. The radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. 6, negative 4 with a radius of 3 is a D. So there is no circle for H because of that sign change there. So just be very careful there. The only way you're going to get good at these is to practice them. Okay, if you get your answers from somebody else, you will never know how to do this on your own for the test. So do make sure that you practice these. A main thing that is a common error is forgetting to add what you do here to the other side. And so be very careful about that. Also, these numbers will always be positive that you're adding. So just really be careful. Once you do it a couple of times, you'll kind of get in the groove and find out they're not so hard. But remember, you're creating perfect square trinomials, and that's when they factor into the same binomial times itself, and we write that as that binomial squared. All right, good luck.